Jerusalem, you the one, say lie like Judah, son. Pray I bring the truth to some, speed fast in a coupe some. Bring the last to the pinnacle roof, yeah, the letter I spits, the letter I write. Use the force like a Jedi Knight, Air Force like red eye white. Scatter force, I bet I might. Speed off, see you swerve down the street lost. Heart beats off, never know if this life could be lost. Might tee off, make it run like Chuck Car Reed dog. Run, nigga, run. Young niggas at the bottom like we gain the ones. Young niggas at the bottom like we gain the ones. Like we gain the ones. Young niggas at the bottom like we gain the ones. Like we gain the ones. Young niggas at the bottom, gotta leave fast like Sodom. Gotta creep fast, hit the street sad, the day be bad till they taught them. Now we be fast, so like beat fast, to pray we fast, for we call them. Yup, seats hang like fruit. My eye keys we gang like Bruce. My eye keys we hang like noose. From a city I claim rights to. From a city I claim rights to. Will I make it through the gate? Pray I do. Famous last words, forgive me too. All of my fam, I pray they do. Gotta repent or we can't get through. Gotta repent or we can't get through. No, I'm from a city in the Middle East, best city in the whole wide world. Say, I'm from a city in the Middle East, best city in the whole wide world. Say, I'm from a city in the Middle East, best city in the whole wide world. Say, city in the whole wide world. Say, city in the whole wide world. Say, I'm from a city in the Middle East, best city in the whole wide world. I'm from a city in the Middle East, best city in the whole wide world. I'm from a city in the Middle East, best city in the whole wide world. Say, city in the whole wide world. Say, city in the whole wide world.
Spend so much time getting this money, never realized them the faces of slave owners. Niggas a snake on you, he got shot in the face over slave owners. White people smile in my face, they the children of slave owners. They all fake, I hate them all, stole our history straight from us. Buying designer clothes from families traced back to slave owners. The Jewish man a bitch, they bought the land so we can't own it. They ain't get bought to slavery on no ships, like we ain't noticed. Deuteronomy 28, explain us leaving Cape Coast. Straight boast, they stole our name and our history straight from us. King James was black and Christ was too. Man, they straight bogus, but playing with the children's roulette while it's loaded. I pray your days closer, like bang, blow your brains open. The goal is keep us slaves with the paper. Putting drugs in the streets to keep us chasing. Yeah, keep the men out the house while they children stay growing. Make it war with each other so division stay focused. Control the media to make them hate us. If we teach them hate theyself, they'll never make it. Yeah, discriminate them at the job and lock them up for selling drugs. If we keep on teaching hate, they will never learn to love.
They put demons all in our face, rose up idols all in our state, destroyed our mind with all of they talent, all and they piling on what they hate. Now we dying so they've raised to teach us lies with all of they say. That goes from schools to the media, designed to change the way you think and the way you pray, the words you speak and the money you pay for the things you get and the people don't know. So we marry their kids and we change our goals and the things don't grow when the kids get rich. Lose that money and the wife and kids and they start back over. This is a trap for a show, then they sell you music by the trap life. Seem like living in the trap life though. We don't get paid from the money they grow. We get pennies on the dollar, my bro. We get pennies on the dollar, my bro. Sometimes I really wanna holler at my bro. Tell them that we've been played on the low. We still slaves and they still own. We still slaves and they still own us.
The goal is keep us slaves with the paper.
Us.
Putting drugs in the streets to keep us chasing. Yeah, keep the men out the house while their children stay growing. Make it war with each other so division stay focused. Control the media to make them hate us. If we teach them hate theyself, they'll never make it. Yeah, discriminate them at the job and lock them up for selling drugs. If we keep on teaching hate, they will never learn to love.
Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, first and foremost, giving honor and glory to the Most High in the name of His Son, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. We the Known House of Saints, coming back with another lesson for the closeout of the Shabbat from the school.
Con.
Or you do it since you say yo. Pull up the website for me. All right. Listen, we got dedication coming up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, like a week and a half. We got dedication coming up right here at the school. You can RSVP on the website www.anointedhouseofsaints.org to RSVP. All right, bring your family. All right, we're gonna have food the whole 9 yards. Excellent lesson. That's one of the best lessons of the year. Let me see. He's gonna pull up the website real quick. You got it? Yeah, go to present on the bottom. Yeah, and then go to Yep. We want y'all to start utilizing this website. It's still being updated as we speak, but there's the website. Put it on full screen for me. Yeah, you can take us off the screen. It's all good. Hit the little, not the ones with the people, but just the open square. All right, but yeah, get on our website. All right, hit that events tab for me. You can go right to the events tab, and you can start RSVPing for all the feast days. All right. But yeah, y'all can look through that on your own time. But we got Passover up there, dedication. What else? The new moon that already passed. Yeah, you went. We already had that new moon, so we about to take that off. But the next new moon is December 30th, so that's 4 days after dedication. So y'all go ahead and get on there and start RSVPing. All right, you'll be able to donate through here. Blog posts about to be coming soon on this page. You can shop and support the camp off this page, the whole 9. So we're not gonna hold y'all long because it's a good amount of reading. We're gonna go ahead and start the class. All right, you can go ahead and take that off and put us back on full screen. All right, all praises. So today's class is called "We Must Rebuild the Kingdom." All right, so we know it's a popular slogan. I think Priest of Bach probably like coined it when he put Daniel 7:18 in that chant that all the brothers do. And we took that verse and made it a camp motto, Daniel 7:18, and we're gonna take the kingdom. But how are you gonna take the kingdom? So I was thinking the other day, if we had to take the kingdom, if the Most High just snapped his fingers and we had to take over the kingdom in the mindset that we are in at that time, and that happened right now, how long will we have the kingdom? Right. Aharon was like, we probably wouldn't even take it because we in such a destroyed mindset as a people, right? And in the truth, when you come into the truth, you got different waves of doctrine. Like you got some people that say like we ain't supposed to do nothing, we just supposed to go through the curses and die. All right, go through the curses, die, live the humble life, which we're supposed to live a humble life, but so humble to where we can't feed our kids, we can't feed our family, can't take care of our wives the way we want to, can't take care of ourselves. We gotta look like a bum, act like a bum, just be a bum. Don't build nothing. And that's not what the Bible actually teaches. I know in the wave that I've been on lately, we was talking about class, and I'm gonna be honest, I said, shoot, man, I could teach more about how to build a website than I can teach anything right now because I've been on that wave lately because we're trying to build something. But in order to take the kingdom, you gotta build something. Right? The Most High has always been about producing. Matter of fact, we're going to start in Genesis because I think we had this conversation last night. Let's start in Genesis real quick. We're going to go to the book of Genesis. And then we're going to start from there. Let's start at chapter 2, and let's start at verse. No, I don't even think it's chapter 2. I'm winging this one. Start there. You can definitely start there. That's a good one.
All right, Khan. So this is the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 28. And the Most High blessed them. And the Most High said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
All right, so we supposed to be fruitful and multiply. You ask any random person that listens to this or hears the scripture, you ask them, what does that mean? They're going to say, it means have children. Of course, right? But that was for everything that they saw on the earth. It was supposed to be fruitful and multiply. Something was supposed to come of it, right? And it's the same thing in life, in the truth, in business, in whatever. The whole point is to grow, be fruitful, multiply it. You know what I'm saying? Make it flourish into something, right? So let's go to matter of fact, let's go to Genesis 40. No, I don't want to go there. Let me go to Jeremiah 29. Jeremiah 29. Because people think when you're in captivity or you're in somebody else's land and you're not the ruling people, because we're not the ruling people in America. There's politicians, right, and you even have the world government that we have no say-so in. So when all of these things, the people who teach the doctrine that you can't have nothing in this society, you know, bro, I mentioned this before. I've heard a prominent teacher in the truth say, why in the world would I buy a house when I'm gonna see it on fire anyway when this place gets destroyed? Right. Well, first of all, you don't know when that is. Let's start there. Yeah, that could be 200 years from now. That's first and foremost. Number two, why would I pay more in rent? You always pay more in rent than you do on a mortgage. Right. Why would I pay more in rent on purpose? That doesn't make any sense. We got to be practical, right? So let's start at Jeremiah 29, because once again, people teach that when you're in captivity, you can't have anything. Don't worry about wasting time trying to build in Esau's kingdom. This is what these brothers be saying. And we got to get out of that mindset, because I'm not one of those people. So let's read Jeremiah 29, and let's start from verse 1.
This is Jeremiah 29 and verse 1. Now, these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders, which were carried away captive.
Which were what?
Which were carried away captive.
So we know that this letter from Jeremiah is being written to Israelites that are in captivity. So everything that he's about to say in this letter or in this address to these people can be used while in captivity. Go ahead.
And to the priests and to the prophets and to all the people who Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. After that, Jeconiah the king and the queen and the eunuchs and the princes of Judah and Jerusalem and the carpenters and the smiths who were departed from Jerusalem by the hand of Elisah the son of Shaphan and Gemariah the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah king of Judah sent unto Babylon to Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, saying, thus says the Most High of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captive.
This is too direct. The God of Israel, the Lord, to everybody who's in captivity. Go ahead.
Whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build ye houses.
So the Bible tells you to build houses, have a place to live,
and dwell in them, and plant gardens.
So we're supposed to have some type of husbandry going on, right? Some type of land. In order to build houses and develop crops, you have to have land. This is in captivity. Go ahead.
And eat the fruit of them.
Go ahead.
Take ye wives and begat sons and daughters.
This is to kill the doctrine. Oh, I might as well just do this in this captivity. Ain't no point of marrying none of these. There's brothers that say that too. You know what I'm saying? That's not biblical. Go ahead.
And take wives for your sons and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that you may be increased there and not diminished.
So the Bible is telling us to build houses, start a civilization. That's what being increased and not diminished is. We're supposed to start a civilization of our own people. Plant, eat the fruit of what we plant. And then verse 7, go ahead.
And seek the peace of the city whither I have caused you to be carried away captive.
And we're supposed to live in peace. How you supposed to seek the peace of the city, but live in chaos, in captivity? But when we live in the areas that we live in, we always want to blame the curse. It's the curse. Yes, the curses is the reason why this looks the way it looks. But the Israelites that are also in captivity, who know who they are supposed to seek the peace of the city. Go ahead.
Khan. and pray unto the Most High for it.
So we supposed to pray for the neighborhoods that we live in because we live here. Go ahead.
For in the peace thereof shall you have peace.
So we are going to have peace amongst the people where they may otherwise be drama in the land of our captivity, right? So we have to build where we are, all right? The thought process that we're supposed to just struggle in captivity is not it. When you're in chattel slavery, of course, but when you're living in another person's civilization because you are brought captives like we are today, we supposed to start building where we are at, right? So in order for us to do this, we got to want more for ourselves, even while being in captivity. Let me get Job 8 and 8. So now, in order for us, we know that Jeremiah told the Israelites in captivity, you need to build. You need to do this. Get houses, have a family, start a civilization, get some land so you can have some crops so you can eat from those crops and be at peace with the city that you're living in while in captivity, right? But we also need to look at our forefathers and see how they did it, right? So, yeah, let me get Job 8 and 8.
Con, this is the book of Job, chapter 8 and verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
So we supposed to inquire about the former things, right? In order for us to know how strong we are, we got to know where we came from. I get a little strength understanding when I be thinking like, oh, dang, I can't build this business. And then I'll read about what we're about to go into. I guess it's a good time to probably do it in a minute, right? When I read that, it's like, well, they was in way more crazier conditions than we are in this time. How did they build multi-million-dollar businesses at this time? Then the other excuses come in, well, the cost of living, it don't matter. Right. Slavery is slavery. A penny was a penny and a dollar was a dollar. Right. You see what I'm saying? How did they make these multi-billion-dollar, million-dollar infrastructures in before Jim Crow? Let's just be like, they was fresh out of slavery, right? Shaw University, 1865, oldest HBCU in the South. Well, some of our brothers and sisters didn't even know they was free from slavery at 1865, which is why they celebrate Juneteenth now. How did we get a whole university in the mix of all of that? You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, let's look at our forefathers real quick. So we're gonna start off from the beginning. Let's start off from Joseph. Let's read Genesis 41, and we're gonna read 39 through 41. We're gonna look at some of our forefathers and see if they were stagnant in the land that they was in, or did they make provisions for their people in the land that they was in? Because if you want to be technical, Joseph was sold into captivity. It was just by his own people.
Right.
Go ahead.
Con, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 39. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God has showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto my word shall all my people be ruled. Salakia, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou.
So Pharaoh said, yo, only in the throne am I going to be greater than you, because he was able to do something for the Pharaoh. And it's crazy because, now I got to find it. My mom used to quote this precept all the time. We got to get it. Say something real quick.
Yeah, Con. Hey, you know, this is powerful because once again, when you start thinking about the origins of our captivity, the very first captivity that we went into, the very first major captivity that we went into, you got something right here. It's bothering me. But yeah, the very first major captivity that we went into, right? Joseph was the first captive sold there. And him being the first captive, being the first example of a captive in the first major captivity, this is what he chose to do with that. So, yeah, you ain't got no excuse.
So you can't get away, right? Give me Proverbs 18 to 16 real quick. What's up, man? Get a mic right there on the corner of the table. Y'all can keep that back there for y'all.
No, I was just thinking about it, that every single major captivity, there's always been like one guy. Like in Egypt, you had Moses, and then you also had Joseph.
We go see, he been reading my notes. Look at that, he been reading my notes. I'm not gonna lie. Look, I'm going through all of them. Like that's a fact. And see, that's crazy how you picked that up this early, right? That's a fact. So let me get Proverbs 18. We're gonna go back to Genesis, because we're gonna read Genesis 47 as well. But I want to read that because Joseph was able to get that position because he had a gift. Right. So go ahead and read that real quick.
Khan, this is Proverbs 18:16. A man's gift maketh room for him and bringeth him before great men.
Khan, bro. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him in front of great men. And we're gonna get another precept that talks about what brings you before great men as well. But Joseph, Daniel, and some other people, they gift brought them before great men, and they was able to make provisions for their own people with these gifts and these positions that was put in, right? So let's go ahead and read Genesis 45, and we're going to read a little bit in Genesis 45. We're going to start at the top. We're going to read a little bit in there. I'm going to try not to stop you that much because I think the point is plain. Yeah, we're going to start at 1. We're just going to get a little backstory.
Khan, this is Genesis 45 starting at 1.
Now, I'm going to give you a backdrop to what's going on right here. Joseph has been put in captivity by his brothers. He's been raised up. He's been to jail, back, raised up in Pharaoh's house. Now he's second in command in Egypt. And his brothers, there's a famine in the land, which is the dream that got Joseph out of captivity in the first place of Pharaoh. And he's pretty much has told Pharaoh, this is about to happen. This is how you deal with it. Mm-hmm. But the famine wasn't only in Egypt. It was also in Canaan and where his brothers and his father lived. So now his brothers are going back and forth to Egypt to ask for food, not knowing the man that they're talking to is the same brother that sold them into captivity. So right here, Joseph is about to crack because Joseph has kind of had to play it cool and pretend like they just talking to the second in command and he's not their brother. But now he's about to crack. So let's read that.
Khan. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud. And the Egyptians and all the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near to me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Now, therefore, be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that you sold me hither, for God did send me before you to preserve life.
Amen. So the Most High sent Joseph in that way just because he already knew what was about to happen and to preserve their life, right? Go ahead. So, mind you, you're in a position of leadership, even in Esau's kingdom. You might be a police officer that has the opportunity to do one thing or do the next. But because you are in the position you use it to help instead of to hurt. Right. You could be a lawyer or a politician. You know what I'm saying? You could be any of these things. Mm-hmm. But you have to have the right mind frame in order to help your people. You can't just be there because the money that come with it. You know what I'm saying? All these professions got pretty decent money. Right. Some people just doing it for the money. But when you have a nationality and a nation that you are representing, it got to be less about the profession and more about how you can help your people with it. And this is what Joseph was doing. Go ahead.
For these 2 years have the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in the which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance.
A posterity is so your children can have children, they can have children, they can have children. So you don't get wiped out. Go ahead.
So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God. And he have made me a father to Pharaoh and Lord of all his house and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Mm-hmm. Haste ye and go up to my father and say unto him, thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not. And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children and thy children's children, and thy flocks and thy herds and all that thou hast.
So Joseph was in such a place, he had a land to give his people to be in when they came to escape the famine. Just imagine the place of power you got to be in to, hey, bro, I know y'all going through it. Let's just use the New Orleans flood.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm thinking about the Boondocks episode now. Yeah, Katrina. Remember when all his family came? Yeah, they all came. He like, nah, I'm good. But just imagine you had a whole. Not only did you have somewhere for them to stay, you had a whole house they could have to themselves. Yeah. Here's your whole block. This is a whole block for y'all. Get auntie in them, and all of y'all come on. That's how Joseph was set up. If Joseph wasn't in that position, what would happen? Let's see if I want more on that. Keep going.
Con. Verse 11. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that thou hast come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see in the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that it is in my mouth that speaketh unto you. And you shall tell my father, am I in the right place? Okay. And you shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that you have seen, and you shall haste and bring down my father hither. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them. And after this, their brethren talked with him.
Go ahead.
And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants. Mm-hmm. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, say unto thy brethren, this do ye, lade your beasts and go, get you to the land of Canaan, and take your father and your households and come unto me. And I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and you shall eat the fat of the land. Mm-hmm. Now thou art commanded, that is cold, because that's prophecy. Because that goes back to the prophecy that the Most High gave to Jacob. Remember that? When he said you would dwell in the fatness of the earth. Right? Verse 19. Now thou art commanded, this do ye, take you wagons out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. Also regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours.
Okay, and see, this is why I wanted to keep going, because Joseph was second in command in Egypt. Pharaoh pretty much said, anything you say, go around here. The only thing that I'm above you on is the throne. Right. So Joseph already told his people that. That's how you know he got pulled. Right. And then Pharaoh just said the same thing. Right. We're going to read the 22. And then we're gonna move to 47.
Verse 21. And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh, and gave them provision for the way. Mm-hmm. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment. But to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of raiment.
So first and foremost, Pharaoh said the same thing to Joseph that Joseph's already said to his family, and say, yo, bring all your family, take these wagons that I got, go get everything that you need. Don't worry about the extra stuff, because the fatness of the land is yours. And he gave them to change the clothes. Yep. That's crazy. Let's go to chapter 47. And then we're going to start from the top. And then we're going to move on to the next brother, like the brother Kakario was bringing up. We're going to go to the next man that was in captivity and the provisions that he made for his people, or just the fact that he was in captivity, period. But we're going to show how he was actually in a place of leadership. We're going to read a little bit in this one, too. I ain't going to hold you.
This is Genesis 47, verse 1. Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, my father and my brethren and their flocks and their herds and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan. And behold, they are in the land of Goshen. And he took some of his brethren, even 5 men, and presented them unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto his brethren, what is your occupation? And they said unto Pharaoh, thy servants are shepherds, both we and also our fathers. They said, moreover, unto Pharaoh, for to sojourn in the land are we to come. For they say, for thy servants have no pasture for their flocks, for the famine is sore in the land of Canaan. Now, therefore, we pray thee, let thy servants dwell in the land of Goshen. And Pharaoh spake unto Joseph, saying, thy father and thy brethren are come unto thee. The land of Egypt is before thee. In the best of the land, make thy father and thy brethren to dwell. Mm-hmm. In the land of Goshen, let them dwell. And if thou knowest any men of activity among them, then make them rulers over my cattle.
Now, here's the cold part that got me on this one. They came out of Canaan into Egypt. Pharaoh don't send them to the best spot in Egypt, it looked like, Goshen. And then he said, yo, you can put your cattle over here, your cattle will be fine. But also, if there's any certain men around you, I'm going to give them a job. They're gonna be lord over all of this over here, right? So that's another blessing. This is all because of Joseph in a captivity. All right, let's keep going.
And Joseph brought in Jacob his father and set him before Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. That's cold too. Jacob didn't show up and curse Pharaoh, right? I thought that was a heavy point. Because some of us might have that spirit, but it's like, yo, think about what the Most High is doing the long game. So Jacob shows up and blesses Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, how old art thou? And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years. Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimage. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh. And Joseph placed his father and his brethren and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's household with bread according to their families. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they had brought. And Joseph brought the money into the Pharaoh's house. And when more money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan.
Hold on. Just imagine you and your people going through something, right? It's a famine, it's an economy crash, whatever. But the person who hands everything got to go through to sustain you and your people is one of your own people, and you're not even in your own land. You're in a famine in the middle of a land that's not yours, living in a land that's not yours, and all these countries or people who's affected by the famine is bringing all this stuff, and they got to go through your people's hands to even get to the master. You see how the Lord set that up? Go ahead.
Right, y'all touch it first.
Right.
Verse 16, and Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give for your cattle if money fail. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses. And he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year and said unto him, we will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also has our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh. And give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate.
All right, so cool. We don't have to keep reading on that. But as you can see, Joseph is in a position of leadership. He's running all the civilization monetarily and food-wise in this land, while his people is dwelling in Goshen and they're being fed. Right? So let's go to the next one. All right, let's go ahead and go to Moses. You already know. Let's go to Moses. Let's go to and there's something on Goshen I want to actually touch, but you know what? I'm gonna touch Goshen later. Let's go to Exodus 2 and 10, and then we'll read 3 and 10.
Gone. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 2, and verse 10. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses. And she said, because I drew him out of the water.
All right, 3 and 10. Let's read that.
And Exodus 3 and 10. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt.
So the Most High allowed one child to make it when all these Israelite children was being killed, to be brought up in Pharaoh's house to be used to get his people out of captivity. Right? Let's go to Daniel. Let's go to the book of Daniel. Let's talk about him real quick. Daniel chapter, you got something? We'll get 3 and 10, 2 and 48 slot. Go ahead. You said what? What you had? Good. Yeah, go ahead.
Earlier today, we was talking about like the parable of the talents in Matthew.
Yep.
And we was reading Joseph, like how his talent was to be able to like dissect and like dreams and all that stuff and break down the dreams.
Mhm.
And what I was thinking about was that when he was in prison, if he would have slept, literally, if he would have slept on his talent, and he would have never got out of prison and never would have been the savior of, or not really the savior, but never would have been, in Egypt. He never would have been able to save Israel.
Right.
So that's another reason why, like, I was that just reminded me of that. But
And we talked about this last night because we talked about talents in another way, and I might get into that in a second. But that's a good point, right? Let me get you got something?
Daniel 2:48. Give him the mic.
Yeah, Con, you want to bring something out? Go ahead.
I was gonna say really quickly, he was one of the most important people ever to live because, like he just said, he saved basically the 12 tribes of Israel. So without him, we literally wouldn't be here. Like a lot of people would not be here.
That's a fact because they would have died from a famine before even going into captivity. You feel me? You feel me? So that would have been over with, right? So let's get Daniel 2 and 48.
Con, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 2 and 48. Then the king made Daniel a great man and gave him many great gifts.
Let me start at 46. Yeah.
Yeah, Con, we'll start at 46. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshiped Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I'm sorry. I got
And Daniel did the same thing.
Yo, I gotta bring this out,
Yeah.
right? Because when people get mad about the other nations coming and bowing down, right? We got to understand that this is the will of the Most High.
Yeah, Con.
When you demonstrate the wisdom and the authority of the Most High in the proper way, the other nations are going to come and bow themselves to you. This is what we see with Daniel, right?
Yeah, Con.
So then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshiped Daniel and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him.
Mm-hmm.
The king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods and a Lord of kings and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man and gave him great gifts and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon and chief over the governors over all the wise men of Babylon.
Hey, man, your gifts will make room for you because it was an even harder thing that Daniel had to do. Right. Daniel had to interpret a dream that the dude didn't even tell him what the dream was about.
He didn't tell him the
dream. Yeah, it was like, yo, you better just figure out what I had a dream about last night or you going to die. You and all the other wise men. All right, last verse.
Con, then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon.
It's the same king that threw these dudes in the fiery furnace for not bowing down to, and I think this is before or after that.
This is
because he made the
no, this is before.
This is before the golden image.
Right before that.
This is, but still, this is the same king that eventually threw these dudes into a fiery furnace and ended up falling on his face again. But because of Daniel, these three Israelite brothers were set over the affairs of the province of Babylon. Now, we're going to get that satraps word in a second. Let's go to Daniel 6 and 1.
Con, the book of Daniel, chapter 6 and verse 1.
Because it's going to show how much that king gave, I was about to say cataract, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Daniel himself. Go ahead.
It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these three presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage.
Mm-hmm.
Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm.
Now, in another version, it uses the word. It says that Daniel was over 120 satraps. We're gonna look that up and see what a satrap is, because I don't know what that is. So we had to look it up, and it'll give you an idea. I think you got it. Yep, it'll give you an idea as to what exactly Daniel was over. So a satrap is a let's see, read that.
Con, it says a provincial governor in the ancient Persian Empire.
There you go. All right. And when you look over the origins of a satrap, what was it, Xerxes? Or
Yeah,
was it-
Khan. It says it comes from the. Hold on, pull it back up.
Because it might be no, it was Nebuchadnezzar. I forgot who it was who started this whole satrap thing, but the kingdom was pretty much so big they will make it into. It's almost like the state of North Carolina. That you got Greensboro, Raleigh, whatever, Charlotte. He put him over, but this was a country pretty much, and he put Daniel and them over these big lots of land. He was a president in Babylon, right? Another brother being placed in a high position in captivity.
That's right.
So if they was placed in a high position in captivity, my question is, how were they living? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, and you already know they had the fatness of the land.
They had the fatness of the land. So I don't have to go through all of these. Let's pick one. I got, which one we want to do? We got Nehemiah, Mordecai, Ezra.
Salaki, I done messed up.
We just read that one. Obadiah. Let's hit Obadiah then. Because there's 8. I'm not gonna go through all 8. Well, 8 accounts of Israelites being in captivity and having dominion or a certain level of rulership in another land that ended up helping their own people. What's up, dog?
So I was gonna say I didn't know if you were like only mentioning males, but I was gonna say Esther was definitely.
Esther is actually in this list somewhere. It's just in another set of notes.
Yeah, Mordecai was one of the people that was named off too.
Yeah, I heard you say Mordecai, and I was like Mordecai and Esther, so I didn't know if you were only mentioning.
No. I had a Esther, another group of notes.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. That's a good one too. We're gonna go to 1 Kings 18. And we're going to start at verse 3. Or we might need to start from the top. Salakia, y'all. Yeah, you can just read 3 and 4.
Khan, this is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 18 and verse 3. And Ahab called Obadiah, which was the governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly. For it was so when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord that Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them by 50 in a cave and fed them with bread and water.
Now the question is, will Obadiah be able to do that if he didn't have any power where he was at? Right? So the Most High uses these elevations to help people, to help one person help the people. You see what I'm saying? So in order to help with the building of the kingdom, we have to be in position ourselves. The Most High also covers the things that we need to help the people, like Goshen. Let's go back to Exodus 8:22 real quick, and then we're going to read 9 and 22, just to show what was going on in this particular place where the children of Israel was ducked off at.
Khan, this is the book of Exodus chapter 8 and 22. And I will sever in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end that thou mayest know I am the Lord in the midst of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I will put a division between my people and thy people. Tomorrow shall this sign be.
Right, man. There wasn't no daggone swarm of flies in Goshen when all that stuff was going on in Egypt. Right? Let's go to chapter 9 and verse 22.
Khan. And the Most High said unto Moses, stretch forth thine hand towards heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man and upon beast and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Egypt.
Go ahead.
And Moses stretched forth his rod towards heaven, and the Lord sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along upon the ground, and the Lord rained hail upon the land of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So there was hail and fire mingled with hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation.
Mm-hmm.
And the hail smote throughout all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast, and hail smote every herb of the field and break every tree of the field. Mm-hmm. Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail.
If Joseph wasn't set up in position to give them that land, then what would have been going on? You would have been in the line of fire, suffering with your oppressor, right? So this is what we have to be in position. The thought process that we don't have to be in a certain position in captivity. We just supposed to accept the captivity, be broke, busted and disgusted, like they used to say back in the day. Don't have any power to do anything, no say so. We don't know nobody. All of these men that we just listed knew who was who in the city. That means you're supposed to know your governor. You're supposed to know your mayor. Let's just say it like that. The governor's a little stretch. But you're supposed to know because them brothers knew them. Yeah. They knew the president. Yeah. Like to keep it funky with you. Yeah. So who are you? You have to be somebody. Your gift got to make room for you, or you have to be a. They said that, what was it? Daniel was the highest president because he had a certain spirit about him. They ain't had nothing to do with him interpreting the dream. That was just a spirit that he carried around. So other people saw that and it was like, I want to be around this dude.
Hey, I got a precept for that. Right? Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. We supposed to move with a level of wisdom that the other nations literally look up and say, yo, I don't know what type of religion he in, or I don't know what type of lifestyle he living, whatever. Something he doing, I just like this dude.
Yeah.
And I think some of us, we lose that because we hate the other nation so much that we can't bring ourselves to being seen in that light, right? But let me bring this up.
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. Keep therefore, you want to start earlier or you want to start there? 5. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye shall do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Now remember, the land that they was going into was the land of Israel, but it was other nations that was there. Mm-hmm. So they're doing these things that they're doing in the sight of other people, right? Go ahead.
Verse 6, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Right. And that's what they did with Joseph. That's what they did with Daniel, all the way down the line. Obadiah, all the people that we covered so far.
All praise. So we have to put ourselves in position, right? We have the marriage topic. I always use this, especially with people who are not amongst us or even older people. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about me and her had this conversation yesterday, I think, about the paperwork conversation. When people say, I'm not married unless I have paperwork, then your great-great-great-great-grandmother and them who was jumping the broom were never married, and God doesn't honor their marriage. You see how crazy that sounds? But when you are in society where you're not in position, you don't make up all the rules, here's the mindset. You see what I'm saying? We got to put ourselves in certain positions. If our great-great-great-great-grandparents had to jump the broom back then, and I think that's honorable, actually, because they could have just been doing what they do and then let that be that. They was like, nah, we gonna make this public. Since we can't do it how they doing it, we gonna do it how we do it over here. Yeah, we gonna make it our own. You know what I'm saying? They might have been jumping the broomstick in Goshen. Who knows? Right. They might have been doing something, whatever it may have been, right? If they was doing that back then, just imagine how much work our forefathers had to do in the 20s, like we was talking about, in 1865, like we was talking about. So we're going to cover that just a little bit. So pull up that article. We're going to cover it just a tad bit. And then, you know, we're just going to read a little bit to see what was going on. And you can read whatever parts, you know how I want.
Con. 100 years ago, this area was known as Black Wall Street, right? So let's get into it real quick.
And this is talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yep. Right. It says this district was founded by black men and women, many of whom were descendants of slaves, and it became known as Black Wall Street. Greenwood was home to doctors, lawyers, and entrepreneurs. For years, it was a beacon for African Americans looking to escape the discrimination and violence of the Jim Crow South. But even in Greenwood, not everyone was safe. Racial tensions and violence with the neighboring white residents in Tulsa boiled over. And on May 31st, 1921, a race massacre ensued, killing hundreds of Greenwood residents.
Let's start right there where you at.
All right. So laying the foundation. The foundations of Greenwood District and Black Wall Street were built in the 1830s when African Americans first migrated to Oklahoma. Many black people arrived as slaves to the Native American members of the Chickasaw, Choctaw, Cherokee, Creek, and Seminole tribes.
So let's scroll and let's look at some notable people. We can go to where he was talking about who bought it, how much he bought it.
Yeah.
The Birth of Black Wall Street. There you go. On the bottom.
Yeah. All right, Con.
There you go.
The Birth of Black Wall Street. It all started with 40 acres in a grocery store.
So in 1920, whoa. Read that.
Yeah, so it says Ottawa Gurley, better known as O.W. Gurley, was one of Tulsa's earliest settlers. Gurley traveled to the oil-rich city of Tulsa in 1905 from Arkansas and purchased 40 acres of land, on which he built the People's Grocery Store and one-story rooming house.
So a black man in 1905 traveled to another state and bought 40 acres of land and put a grocery store on it, right? Let's keep going.
Kind. Gurley's grocery store and rooming house set the stage for the boom in black entrepreneurial business that would follow. Greenwood was soon filled with restaurants, hotels, billiard halls, shoe stores, tailor shops, and more. The district's enterprising residents built their businesses for black people who were often barred or treated poorly in the nearby white establishments.
So I'm going to pull something real quick if I can. Let me pull something real quick about Black Wall Street. There we go. So Black Wall Street by 1921 had 30 plus restaurants, 21 churches, 2 movie theaters, a hospital, a public library, numerous law and medical offices, clothing stores, barbershops, and more, right? But let's talk about the wealth circulation. The wealth circulation says the dollar reportedly circulated within the Greenwood community for up to a year before leaving, indicating robust economic independence. So I'm going to ask a question. What does it mean for a dollar to circulate? Right. So the dollar went from me to Jonathan to Kakaria to Ashton to Michaela back to me a year before one of us bought something from a white person or bought something from a Jewish man. It did that for a year. They say the black dollar lasts like 17 minutes now. Yeah. It's like as soon as we get paid, we go somewhere. Like we get paid, we go to McDonald's or something. It go outside of our community. So maybe we need to get in a habit of when we get paid, I'm buying something. I don't care if it's 99 cents. I'm buying something from one of our own people. And then I got to do what I got to do. We got Duke Energy. We don't own that. You know, all this stuff. But that's part of it. So you got to think about it. Their electricity companies and all that, they probably had all of that up in there, right? You had a brother named Simon Berry. He owned a taxi service and a charter plane company. You had A.J. Smitherman. He was the founder of the Tulsa Star newspaper. What's the other brother? You had J.B. Stratford. He owned a luxurious Stanford Hotel, one of the large black-owned hotels in the United States. So we have to put ourselves in a certain type of position. Now, when it got burnt to the ground, we don't want it no more, right? But the Bible is saying in the land of your captivity, you're supposed to be trying to build these things. You see what I'm saying? You're supposed to be trying to build your neighborhood because you're supposed to be leaving something for your children's children. You could drop that. We gonna if you got something, go ahead, bring it up.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, imagine the power. If we was able to amass that type of power that fast, imagine what would have happened if we would have maintained that. If we would have maintained that power, imagine what would happen if, you know, when your nephew need a job, you could send him up the street. This dude, he own a newspaper. This dude over here own this. This dude over here own that. You got people in your community you could just go to. They all come to the school with you. They learn at the same school with you. So like, yo, hey, my nephew need a job. These are resources that we've lost over time. Now we got to fill out that application and hope the white man call you back.
Hope for the best, right? So with that being said, let's go to Proverbs 21:20. Just to go into that circulation of that dollar. because we had a little bit more wisdom in that day and age. We were a little bit more frugal. We wasn't. There was really one dress code, and that was professional dress back then. You see what I'm saying? So everybody looked the same. We wasn't really trying to do anything but elevate back then. Go ahead.
Khan, this is Proverbs 21:20. There is treasure to be desired, and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up.
Khan, man. So we gotta make sure that we doing something with our dollar. The Christian pastor told you to plant a seed with your dollar all the time. This is cold. This almost about to make me mad what I'm thinking about. The pastor told you to sow a seed into him, and then you will get some blessings and all this stuff, right? What if you took that same dollar and started a business with that dollar, and every dollar you made from that was to make more dollars for the greater good of the community? That don't sound like a seed to you? But we've been taught to put that seed into somebody else, right? But the wise man he's going to have that money. He's going to keep that money. He's going to do something wise with it. Going back into the parable. I don't think we got to touch the parable of the talents, but if we can briefly just overview that real quick. When you think about we ain't even going to go there. When you think about the parable of the talents, the talent was money that he took and he wanted it so he can make more money with that money. Well, whatever. I think a talent was something crazy. It was.
Just looked it up.
It was.
It was like a measurement of silver or gold.
Yeah, but the dollar amount was stupid. Go ahead, and you can let us know what it is. The dollar amount was ridiculous, and he gave one dude like 10 of those. Say it again. Nah, we good. We'll just bring it out. But just think about it. What if you didn't have the finances, but you had the wisdom to turn nothing into something? Like you knew how to do something, and you just sat on it. You're burying your talents into the dirt, right? A talent is 1.4 million. So and Jonathan can vouch. All business coaches say two things. Poor people buy things that they exchange their time for. Rich people take the money that they use their creativity to make more money with that money. You see what I'm saying? And then they do whatever they gonna do with it. But the point of the matter is, we supposed to be putting ourselves in position to elevate our community. Why don't we have an Israelite daycare? Why don't we have a doctor's office or a dentist's office ran by an Israelite? For what? Why don't we have these things?
We in captivity, huh?
You see what I'm saying? But we less in captivity than they was in captivity in Black Wall Street. And they had all of these things. This shows you these excuses are stupid, right? Give me Ecclesiastes 7 and 12. I only got a couple more precepts and we're gonna wrap it up. Because I hope everybody got the point. Yeah, go ahead, read it.
He said 1.4. That's basically what it says here. I'm just going more into detail. It says a talent, when referring to its historical meaning as a unit of weight and currency in ancient times, is estimated to be roughly equivalent to between $500,000 and $1 million in modern currency.
That's crazy. That's a good amount of money. You'll be surprised.
I was gonna say people do that.
Yeah, people do it all the time. They about to go to jail and they hoping and low key when you go to jail and you bury your money, you're hoping for the best when you get back. Cause it be molded, it be something. So let's think about it. If he really buried his money, I don't know how silver do when it gets buried, but I know how dollar bills do. They get stuck together. You can't really do nothing with it. You gotta wet it and hopefully you can separate. Oh my God. Like you sitting there doing some of everything to try to get that money right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let me get a Ecclesiastes 7 and 12 really quick.
Con, this is the book of Ecclesiastes 7 and 12. For wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it.
Con, money don't give you life, wisdom do. But here's the thing, you can use your wisdom to make some money and use them resources to bring to your community. Because I don't want nobody to get it misconstrued. This lesson isn't about make as much money as you can. No, if you are in that mindset of making some money, the question you need to ask yourself is, what am I making this money for besides to pay some bills? Because once I got the money to pay my bills, what do I need more for? Am I gonna? I heard a guy say, if you were generous, you're not gonna all of a sudden become generous when you get rich. You was generous broke. You're not gonna all of a sudden become frugal broke. You was probably frugal rich. You know what I'm saying? So money is a defense. Money is needed. But we already know it's the love of money that's the root of the evil. Like when you're ready to kill somebody about some money, you ready to do this and the third, that's when it becomes a problem. Let me get Proverbs 13 and 22. Now, the reason why I got into the mode of, hey, I need to work while it is day, like the scriptures say, when I got into the mode of, I'm not going to be lazy and just chill, or I made enough, you know, the Lord gave us Saturday, sundown to Friday to, you feel me? He gave us all this time. When the sun go down on Saturday until it goes, until it goes down on Friday, you have time to do whatever you need to do. But you know, you get in the mindset of, well, it's Tuesday, I don't feel like doing this. So nah, bro, you gotta get it all while you can. Lawfully, right? Because of the reason why I got in that mindset specifically is this particular precept. Go ahead, King.
Khan, this is Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
So when you think about it, we always talk about, I'm going to leave something to my kids. But it says a good man leaves something to his children's children. Right? Let's go to Sirach 29 and 21. Because we got some people. Nope. Let's go to Luke 16. We got some people who are cool with being where they at, but they're not really cool with being where they at, if that makes any sense. Like they really don't want to work. So they cool because I ain't have to do nothing today. But they still want what they see other people who worked. You feel what I'm saying? But it's like how, right? So let's start from the top.
Khan, it's the book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 1. Khan, he said unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man which had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods. And he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear thee of this of thee? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer a steward. Then the steward said within himself, what shall I do? For my Lord taketh away from me the stewardship. I cannot dig, to beg I am ashamed. I am resolved what to do, that when I am put out of the stewardship, they may receive me into their houses. So he called every one of his Lord's debtors unto him, and said unto the first, how much owest thou unto my Lord? And he said, 100 measures of oil. And he said unto him, take thy bill, and sit down quickly, and write 50. And he said to another, how much owest thou? And he said, 100 measures of wheat.
What's up, Salaki?
Okay.
Read verse 2 and 3.
Verse 2 again. And he called him and said unto him, how is it that I hear this of thee? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest no longer be steward. Then the steward said within himself, what shall I do? For my Lord taketh away from me the stewardship. I cannot dig, to beg I am ashamed.
So I don't want to work hard, but I'm also got too much pride to beg as well. I don't want to ask for it, but I also don't want to work hard. And then the rest of the story, he figures it out. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, you got people that's like this. They can't be an asset to the building of the kingdom because they don't want to do nothing themselves. They don't want to take care of their wife and their family themselves. They don't, because they don't want to do what's required to do it. They don't want to have to do a 9 to 5. You heard something? Okay, the door locked though. They don't want to have to work a 9 to 5. They don't want to have to flip a burger. They too good for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do this, brother. Hey, but you know what's funny? I don't want to flip a burger. Right, to keep it real with you, but if it came down to food in my son's mouth, I'm gonna have to flip a burger, bro. I be flipping burgers outside anyway, so shoot, forget it. And it be cold, right? So let's get Sirach chapter 40 and verse 28. Matter of fact, let's start at 25. Ecclesiasticus 40 and 25.
Khan, it's the book of Sirach, chapter 40, verse 25. Gold and silver make the foot stand sure, but counsel is esteemed above them both.
Mm-hmm.
Riches and strength live up the heart, but the fear of the Lord is above them both. There is no want in the fear of the Lord, and it needeth not to seek help.
So we're not sitting there saying money is the principal thing, like it's the most important thing. You got brothers that you can meet homeless and they got the most peace in the world, and you got brothers who might got it and they don't have no peace.
Hey, it's a bunch of homeless people or rich people who killing themselves in Hollywood.
They just killing themselves because they don't have the principal thing, and we're gonna get into that in a second, right? But we know that money is used in exchange for the things that we might need for the building of the nation, right? More buildings for the people to congregate. Matter of fact, buildings that you own so you don't have to keep coming out of your pocket for everything. Land, so if something hit the fan, all your people know where they gonna go to. You know what I'm saying? Something, right? Read 28, and then we gonna keep going.
Khan, my son, lead not a beggar's life, for better it is to die than to beg.
It's better to be dead than be a beggar, bro. That's what the scripture said. And you forgot, Sirach is a book where a man is talking to his son.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Straight wisdom.
So it's raw and uncut too, right? Keep going.
The life of him that dependeth on another man's table is not to be counted for a life.
So he was like, yo, you're not even living. You're not even a person. If you are sitting there looking at somebody else's table like, I'm chilling at your crib, I don't got nowhere to go, I'm not doing anything, I'm hungry, but I'm just sitting there waiting for some food to hit that table and for you to offer me some. But you're not living. Go ahead.
Khan. It says, for he polluteth himself with other men's meat, but a wise man well nurtured will beware thereof.
Go ahead.
Begging is sweet in the mouth of the shameless, but in his belly there shall burn a fire.
So yo, you a beggar, you don't even care because like as long as I get what I need, like you know what I'm saying? You don't have no pride, bro. You know what I'm saying? A shameless man has no problem with begging. So the Bible tells you have to have something going on for yourself. You need a house, you need a job, you need a source of income, you need something. And then all of these things is not just for you though, it's to sustain yourself and your family, of course. But it's still, especially in this day and age, with all the programs we got going on, with all the ways to make income for not only yourself but for other people, bro. That's for the building of the nation. All right, so let's go to Sirach chapter 20. That was Sirach 40, right?
Yeah.
Let's go to Sirach 29 and ooh, yeah, that's a good one right there. Let me make sure I'm getting the record. I might have you read that real quick.
Yeah, I got a couple of them.
Yeah, and I already. So we're gonna go to 21, but I'm gonna get the point to go into 9 if that's what you was looking at. Yeah. Let's read 21 and then we're gonna go into 9. I mean, we could probably go to 1 John, then we might go to 9.
Khan. Verse 21. The chief thing for life is water and bread and clothing and a house to cover shame. Better is the life of a poor man in a mean cottage than delicate fare in another man's house.
Right, man. You're not supposed to be in another man's house with your feet kicked up like you cool. You know what I'm saying? Read that first verse again.
Verse 21. The chief thing for life is water and bread and clothing and a house to cover shame.
So those are the things that's chief. Like you need those. Those are the most important things. Water, bread, clothing, and a house to cover shame.
Hey, it don't even say lights. It don't even say lights.
Because everybody know when them lights cut off, they just cut off.
Right. So if it get tight and the internet don't come on, don't worry about it.
All right, that's not a principal thing. All right. All right. So let's do I want to get that verse in? Your money is for the rebuilding of the nation. Let's start at verse 9, and then we'll read 10.
Con. Help the poor for the commandment's sake, and turn him not away because of his poverty.
Mhm.
Lose thy money for thy brother and thy friend, and let it not rust under a stone to be lost.
This is for y'all
That's
who save y'all money. Judah is not saying don't save your money. We're talking to the people. You're never going to use that money, ever. We talked about this last time. This is what we were talking about with that credit conversation. You're never going to use this money ever in your life. You see what I'm saying? You just letting it sit there. The possibility for that to be used for something good is just sitting where you had the money. But because you don't know if you're going to get any more, you don't lend to your brother or your sister, whoever you see that's in need. The Bible tells you not to do that. Right? This is where all these gurus and these business people be getting their game from. Because they always talk about when you saving money, it's just wasting away. Because as much as inflation changes, that dollar is not worth a dollar no more. So you might as well either put it out to make more money with it, or to what's the word I'm looking for? To help your people, right? You got something? Okay, con. We gonna read 1 John 3:17, and I got maybe I got one more.
all right. Salakia, call that one more time.
Actually, this is probably gonna be my last precept. 1 John 3:17, because I want to teach a class, maybe on Sabbath morning brew one of these days, about the psychology of money, period, but from a biblical lens. But people got to be primed up for that class. They can't just because I already know how they're gonna take that one.
Con.
You know what I'm saying?
Con, do you want me to start right at 17 or start at 16? I think they both go together.
You want to start at 16? You can.
Okay, Con. Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. But whoso have this world's good, and seeth his brother have need, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him, how dwelleth the love of God in him?
So we got properties, and we got one brother that needs a place to stay, and we got 3 properties, and we just say, hey brother, figure it out. Then what good are you to have the world's riches and the world's goods, and your brothers and sisters out here struggling, and you got it to give? It's not gonna hurt you at all, but you decide, I'm just not gonna do that. Right? How is the love of God in you, knowing that you in your house, you cool, you got multiple places for your brother to stay, but you don't offer it to him? Or you got more than enough money. Your brothers and sisters might need something. You have it. It's not going to hurt you. It's not one of them situations where you're going to extend your hand and now you're going to be begging. It's not one of them situations. You got it. It's not going to hurt you. You see they need it. Their children might need it, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to. They say the love of God is not in you. Do we read verse 18?
Not yet.
Let's read that, and we're going to end it there.
Con, verse 18, my little children, let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth.
Come on, man, we got to love in deed and in truth. And deed means in action. So the point of that lesson, and that's the end of my lesson, but the point of that lesson is, I got you. The point of that lesson is, listen, we talk about taking the kingdom. That's cool to do chants. It's cool to say Esau going into captivity. It's cool to do all of that. But if you're going to be in a mindset of leadership and a mindset of rulership in the future, you need to start learning how to be a good leader with the little that the Most High has given you now. So we can start building, doing things in our community, having programs to feed our people, food pantries, whatever the things may be. It's more than just getting on the street corners and yelling at people, which we don't do, not here. You know what I'm saying? But it's a time and a place. We probably will. But there's more than just getting, oh, you're not supposed to have that on, brother. You an Israelite. It's more than that. You know what I'm saying? It's more than you weren't even supposed to learn that, brother. You supposed to learn this. Well, what are they supposed to learn it from? Right. What programs do you have in place?
And that's what I was just about to say.
You know what I'm saying?
We want to, when we ask people to leave the world, we have to be offering something positive to give them in exchange.
Right. That's the point. You have to have something to bring them to if you're going to be doing all the complaining about where they at. So as the people who have the knowledge of the Most High, the salt of the earth, the people who the Most High has given the knowledge, we have to also do what the Bible says in totality. We look at the Bible with one lens. We come out to church looking at it in one lens. We come into the truth looking at it in one lens. But when you actually look at the Bible, bro, the Bible is speaking of you different than you speak on yourself. The Bible, we talked about this last night. The Bible speaks of you different than you speak of yourself. You're not supposed to be walking around here with no way to take care of yourself and then just say, oh, I'm just living a humble servant's life. No, you're not. You're supposed to be trying to do something while in this captivity because your forefathers did it. So keep that in mind. I hope that encourages some people to get out here and actually start doing something. If you're not working let's get that precept, whatever thy hand findeth to do. Let's find that. That's a good precept to close on. If you got something going on, you in school, you got a job, you got a business, you aspire to do any of these things, you got to do it with everything that you got. So if you're not working hard enough in a certain avenue in life, you're not working hard enough at your job to make the money that you can make. You always late, so your check's short, or you always calling out, so your check's short. You know what I'm saying? You are entrepreneur, but you're not really putting your best foot forward, so you're not making the money you really want to make. Whatever it is, you're not studying enough, so you need to put more hours into studying. Whatever it is, you got to make sure you doing it with everything that you got, so the Most High can see and water it a little bit. You got to end on that.
Con, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might, for there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest.
Man. So, hey, man, if you are above ground and you got your eyes set out to do something, you're supposed to do that with all your might, because if you're supposed to leave an inheritance for your children's children, you're supposed to make a difference in the community that you're in, whatever it is, even if it's supposed to leave your wife and your kids straight if you die, you're supposed to do that with all your might. So with that, I'm Brother Judah. I'm going to end the class there. Go ahead, King.
Hey, Con, all praise to the Most High, man. We definitely appreciate y'all for joining. I'm going to give you this Daniel 7:18 real quick, and then we're going to close out. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. By Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Hey, we love y'all.
This is not a test.
Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, 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 black music, black music.